Hey guys, what's up? And today we have 5 little tips for you on making your club not only self-sustainable but perhaps working on a tighter wage and transfer budget. Now I know I'm playing Liverpool here, but this is more or less just to kind of show you certain things. Now I'll go from the most obvious and we'll work from there. And the most obvious is your youth academy. And now how I mean by this, if I go into, let's say, under 23s. Okay, whilst Liverpool's aren't the greatest, this is what we're going with. You'll see, straight off the bat, there's a few players hidden here that can be useful. Okay, so if we just start from here. Now, all of these players that I've highlighted could certainly be useful, just off the face of it, without looking into stats and whatnot. And the reason for this is because you'll find usually players along the 3 stars, they're great at like little backup players or anything like that. I mean, right here, if I just click on lad here, we've got a backup goalkeeper. Once he's all sorted, it'll be a good little backup goalkeeper. Until then, we can kind of loan him and just get him some game time. Right here, Harry Wilson. If you compare him to what we currently have, okay, in terms of our backup, so in this system our backup would probably be someone like Sakiri. Now if we compared the two of them, Harry Wilson, there's not a lot in it. You know, the odd vision, technical, physical, yeah, mental, but then Wilson probably offers more defensively, like it shows, and he has still got a bit of growing to do, so there will be some bits he outshines Sakiri on. And the thing is, you won't have to pay for a backup with that in mind, because once this Sakiri moves on, he's 28 now, say I want to sell and whatnot, Harry Wilson's nearly ready enough to come in and just take his place like that. Yeah, he might not be for the first team, but it's better than paying for players for the bench, and obviously we need players for the bench. Right, so then if I wanted to check the youth team again, for example, you know, it's got plenty of growing left, and he could certainly make it into the first team. Perhaps not the superstardom level of, let's say, Mane, Salah and whatnot, but you could definitely make a very good team around your youth. Now this is what brings us on to the next bit. Youth is great for substitute players, and you'll find the odd gem in your youth candidates. And Wilson might be few and far between. Generally, you won't have to pay very much. You'll get some good players for it that will help you in the future. The next thing, and this is the thing that, in my opinion, is one of the most important things you need to look at. This is where you're going to get your good players from. You want to go into the transfer market, and you want to put expiring in a year. Now all the players right here, now on my screen, their contracts expire in 1 year. As soon as it hits 6 months, I have the opportunity to sign them for next season. Now of course that means there's going to be plenty of old players that you're just not going to want. But, looking right here, if I was playing with a system that used to attack a midfielder, look who I've got. He would be a great signing, or even as a false 9, he would be great to rotate with Firmino, for example, and rather pay the 40 million, I could wait until he's 6 months in his contract and I could get him for free. Yeah, the wage, but you know, you've only got to pay for the wage then. Perhaps if I didn't want someone like that, maybe I want someone a bit younger. There's Jordan Ibe here. And if you keep going down, you'll see Balotelli and all these different players. You know, you've even got some youthful players which will bulk up your youth academy, and you're not having to pay a penny for them. And the great thing about this is it updates every year, because there's always players running down their contracts, and you will find some gems doing this. I had a player, not on this save but on my beta save, and I'll actually search him up for you, because I think his contract's actually run out as well. He's on loan from Dortmund. Yeah, 8 months. This guy becomes an absolutely phenomenal player. Well, yeah, he's already on my shortlist. That kind of tells you. This guy, in my beta save, I was offered 102 million from Real Madrid. I paid nothing for him, and he becomes a fantastic inside forward or deep line playmaker. This guy is terrific, and I got him for nothing. And you can build a team from nothing, and it is absolutely brilliant. This is the most highly recommended tip I could possibly give you for building a team within your wage budget and our shoestring wage budget. Yes, you have to kind of prolong it until then, but once you get into it, it works in really well. Let's say, for example, this year, I've got James Rodriguez. Let's say I've got Dries Mertens. Okay, they're now fitting themselves into a squad, because you don't want to bring in too many players anyway, so they're fitting themselves in, whilst next year you can have some more players. So by the time these guys have established themselves, you're going to get to bring some more in, and you never know what you're going to get, because contracts, some sign, some don't, and I say you can get some right bargain with players, and you still have some fairly old players like Matuidi here. His acceleration and pace ain't too bad. You could get another year or two out of him happily. Drop him a bit deeper. Let's say we want to play him as an anchor man or something like that. Look at that. Beautiful stats. Yeah, definitely. So, perhaps the option that's not as favoured, but this, once again, it will bulk up your substitutes. If I put expires. It will bulk up your substitutes, and not only your substitutes will it bulk up, but you can get some mentors out of this. Now, usually it's a bit of a pain to look through, so what I tend to do, at the end of every season you'll get a thing saying like, certain players have been released and whatnot, and you'll find it'll be older players. It's almost always older players, at least the ones that are any good anyway. Actually, if I try and put international on here, I might get fewer players. Little player there, but these players aren't necessarily players, like I said, that you're gonna be playing. These guys are more so people that are gonna help your youngsters develop, and if called upon, come into the bench or the first team if needed. Help rotate your side and whatnot, because usually, because they're quite old, they tend to take a huge wage cut. I remember I got Mata, and this is the same save as I got Gomez in. I got Mata, and because he wanted to do an under 18s role as well, I had to pay him like 1,200. I'll tell you what, his stats were still up there with the best. Kenyon Jones here. He's definitely dropped off from what I remember. Well, that's because I remember him. He was last at Stoke City, and well, he's not done great since then. But anyhow, we'll go on to the next one. And once again, a lot of these are very obvious, but when explained, they're also very helpful. Transfer list. Now, with the transfer list, you're just getting players for a lot cheaper. It's plain and simple. Keep an eye on it. And the reason I say is because they're not always being transfer listed because they're bad players. It is generally sometimes because they'll want away players from, say, smaller teams that just want to get away from the club because, very simply, they're not at their level. And you can do this yourself. You can annoy, like, see, requested to leave. If I wanted Pogba on my team, let's see how much it cost me. 84 million. And realistically, he's not a bad player, is he? Not really. You buy him 26. You're set for the next 6 years. 6 years. You're only paying like 12 million a season, something like that, and it could well be worth it. But yeah, you can upset players yourself. Now, I'm sure a lot of you know how to do it. You go and make a silly offer for a player, and if you're a bigger team, usually they're going to want to leave for you. So it works in quite well. But I won't delve too much into that. What I want to delve in next is the loan system. Now this can be useful even for bigger teams. And we'll see if we get anyone here. Probably not. This one is a bit more hit and miss. This is better for lower teams than the bigger ones. Generally because it's usually the bigger teams loaning the players. But if you have a specific position that you need help with because you simply don't have the players or anything like that, loaning could be your way out of it. Like if I wanted a backup keeper, say I didn't have anybody, it's not the worst option right here. You know, contracted to Aston Villa, he's definitely a championship quality goalkeeper, but I'd definitely take him if I had no one else. You know, you can look into a lot of these guys' stats, like 31-year-old here, wouldn't do a bad job. And this, once again, it gets updated a lot. And you won't always find great players, you will not. You know, hardly ever. And in fairness, I don't use this option specifically lots. But chances are, if you're trying to work on a shoestring budget or within your wage budget, I'm guessing you're not one of the big six. And if you're not one of the big six, these can all be very useful tips for you. Use all of them though. Don't just, you know, try the loan system. It's like, oh well, that don't work. Obviously, none of these go work. No, they all have their own little thing about them. With the loan system, it's great because you only have to pay it for 1 year, and then you can look for a more solid and long-term option next season. It just gets you by. Loan system's usually the last protocol. Free agents, it's always worth a cheeky little look through them because the free agents. Your youth is something you should always focus on. Pre-contracts, once again, they're pre-contracts. You're not paying anything for them, and you're getting a terrific player. Yeah, usually sometimes you have to pay a little more wage, and that's not even all the time. That is sometimes. But you get a terrific player out of it, and you're not paying through the nose for it either. Whilst they come into your team. And transfer list, there's always someone good transfer listed, and it's definitely worth taking a look at. I don't think I've actually got anyone in this team that have done anything specific. Actually, no, Raphael here you go. He was transfer listed. 4.3 million. Right? I'm not being funny. He offers me plenty in terms of what I need. Now if I go to Trent, right, Trent is the better player, 100%, but he is a Trent-like player. You know, he's more attacking than he is defensive. You know, and that's what I wanted from him. And already he's worth a lot more than what I paid. But if I had listened to my director of football and whatnot, he suggested a specific player for me. Once again, look at this. These are other players I got short term and contracts and all that. But try and look for the. Okay, he's always linked to Liverpool every single time. I think I might have to ask. Yeah, if right back suggest. No, it's none of these. He suggested someone else to me, but. Anyhow, I think he plays for Napoli. Can't for the life of me think of his name, so this is how I'm having to do it. Oh my god, where's he got? He must have been sold then. Surely. Here he is. Yeah, so if it was up to them, I would have had to buy this guy, which 10.25 million, yeah, that's absolutely fine. However, he would have cost double what Raphael cost me, and the wages he wanted were about between 80 and 90,000. Whereas Raphael 50k. So I've saved a lot of money there, and if you compare the two, for what I wanted, Raphael was the better player. You know, this graph does not do it 100% justice. I specifically wanted a complete wing back, on support. And if you then compare those stats individually, there isn't a lot in it. And you could argue Raphael is definitely the better player for it. Defensively, this guy is better. But for what I wanted, which were like for like Trent Alexander-Arnold, this guy, Raphael, is the better player. And I did that through searching through things. Yeah, he's not. He's never going to be my first teamer. But he has bulked up a problem area for my team, which was we didn't have a lot of left backs or right backs. So he has helped us there. And this is definitely a reoccurring thing that you will need help with over time. You need to bulk your team out. But yeah, I hope these tips have been helpful for you. Another quick one, obviously, and I don't recommend this one, but if per se, let's say transfer list, if per se you wanted someone that was a bit out of your price range, if they're transfer listed, the chances are you can go on loan. I can't do it come outside the transfer list, but you can go on loan, and chances are they will accept your loan. The only reason I don't specifically like doing this is because if it's a player that you feel is useful and you loan them and then you don't quite play them enough, they're not going to want to return to you, and you might form bad relationships and all. But it's not the worst option. If there's no one good on loan and you can't afford anybody, look through the transfers and find a transferred player. 9 times out of 10, they'll be happy for you to loan them, no matter what it is, because usually they just kind of want the person off the books. But hey, I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have enjoyed, please leave a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.